Bill Gates urges people to go vegan. Well, not quite. That's a little bit clickbaity, but it's super close. In a recent interview, Bill Gates states, "I do think all rich countries should move to 100% synthetic beef." So here's why Bill Gates is saying that and why that is a super big deal. So are you ready? Let's just dive right into it. We all know Bill Gates, billionaire, business magnate, has worked with Steve Jobs on, the Apple projects, the founder of Microsoft, put computers in every home, so quite a big deal. But in recent years, we've seen a quite, 180-degree switch in Bill Gates from, business to philanthropy. Now, is this just an evil business move? Is Bill Gates working on a global depopulation agenda? I don't think so. I think actually Bill Gates deserves, a little bit more credit than what the internet sometimes thinks. Here's what Bill Gates said 25 years ago at his friend Warren Buffett's 65th birthday. Bill Gates said that he never wants to die rich. Quote, "Shouldn't the measure of accomplishment be how many lives you can save with a given amount of money?" He agreed with Buffett that he had to make the money first in order to have the money to give away. But as soon as he had made a certain amount, Gates said he was going to use it to save more lives in the present by giving most of it away. So Bill Gates, in my controversial opinion, is not an evil guy. He's simply following the playbook of Andrew Carnegie, who made 500 million 100 years ago with his steel company and then gave most of it away. At the death of Andrew Carnegie, he was only worth less than 10% of his total net worth in the mid to end of his career. So what are Bill Gates' thoughts on meat? And why is this issue important to him? I think it's evident that Bill Gates doesn't really care much about the well-being of animals. I think it's also evident that he doesn't really care much about, people's well-being or his personal well-being when it comes to meat consumption. What Bill cares a lot about though is climate change. And for a dude that is 65 years old, and looks like he's 80, that is quite a big deal. That is quite a big deal. So I heavily applaud him for that. In his recent book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, Bill Gates puts a very heavy emphasis on the role of livestock in climate change. He writes that, quote, "Raising animals for food is a major contributor of greenhouse gas emissions." And in my view, that is just super awesome to see Bill Gates, this major public figure being so vocal about that issue and actually looking to make a change. Remember 7 years ago at the making of Cowspiracy, the documentary that really outlines the problem with meat and climate change, even Greenpeace was not writing about the role of animal foods in climate change.
Nowhere do you find in their policies and nowhere do you find in the Greenpeace mission that diet is important, that animal agriculture is the problem. They are refusing, like other environmental organizations, to look at the issue.
So we see quite a big switch and quite a big progress here in this field. What I do not like though is that Bill Gates is still, I can't say it any other way, still too soft in that area. In the book How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, he also talks about strategies to put North American cattle to South America or to Africa, because North American cattle produces less methane than the other different breeds. And that is just super soft. I can't say it any other way. Why not just reduce livestock in general and just switch to plant-based meat alternatives? I mean, they're awesome. Bill Gates writes, "A hardcore vegan might propose another solution. Instead of trying all these ways of reducing emissions, we should just stop raising livestock." I can see the appeal of that argument, but I don't think it's realistic. So you don't think it's realistic. So you think it's easier to convince people of, next level, nuclear power than convince people to switch their eating habits.
Nuclear power can be done in a way that none of those failures of the past would recur, because just the physics of how it's built. I admit convincing people of that will be almost as hard as actually building it. But since it may be necessary to avoid climate change, we shouldn't give up.
Here's my opinion about that. Here's my 2 cents. See, climate change is such a big issue. Shouldn't we stop worrying about what is realistic and be super soft and instead focus on what needs to be done. And fact of the matter is that livestock and its byproducts account for more than 51% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. That's quite a big issue, and we should get that under control. So what do you think? If you agree with my statements that I made in this video, smash the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. So talk to you next time.